So good afternoon, Nadzmi, Nadzmi, Salleh. Welcome to Zerima Talk Live Show. Welcome, Nadzmi.
Good evening.
Okay, so let me give you introductions about Nadzmi Salleh. He's the founder and chairman of Nadicorp Holdings, the chairman of several companies, and Malaysia Ernst and Young Entrepreneur of the Year 2003. Today we're going to talk about, the topic is wake up call for business amidst COVID-19. Okay, Nadzmi, how are you so far?
Well, surviving. It should be better.
Okay, so my first question to Nadzmi, how was COVID-19 impacted your business?
Well, it has affected us tremendously, especially being in the bus and railway industry. We rely on the movement of the people to generate income for our business in particular. And the pandemic has brought, I think, a halt to our operations. Even other businesses are also affected tremendously by the pandemic because they too are having the MCO. Because there's no movement, the restricted movement, and people are not using our services. So definitely the income of the company is zero.
Okay.
And we still have to carry on with paying the overheads of the company.
So how would you compare the current economic situation caused by COVID, to the SARS outbreak in 2003 and the financial crisis of 2008?
Well, the current economic situation is definitely more severe. Okay? It's more severe than the one was caused by SARS and this economic slowdown in 2008. Because there's some activities, even though the SARS, but not the whole population lockdown. But here you have a total lockdown of movement of people, and definitely all economic activity will be halted. And there's nothing that you can do about it. So this is definitely worse.
So you mean that this would be the worst situation you ever seen in your life, right? I guess in business.
Yes. Not me alone. I think everybody in the business world. They're all affected.
So have you ever encountered such a situation whereby, whatever you already planned in your business, you have to stop immediately and change the business model immediately?
Definitely. Because this was not anticipated in our business, planning. And it came very suddenly, then none of us are prepared for it. I must say that we were taken by surprise. But the situation of the pandemic in Malaysia is getting better. But it's getting better for the pandemic, but for the business, it's getting worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about your past experience. You returned as a Proton chairman on 1st January 2009. How did you steer Proton back on track right after 2008 financial crisis?
Well, I returned as the chairman of the board, the executive chairman. So I was the chairman of the board, and definitely we see the big policies of the company. We regulate at the board level, and I'm quite fortunate because I have the background of running Proton before. So that gave me a good insight into what are the things that you have to do and how you must manage the company moving forward. And also the management headed by Dr. Sri Zainal close, and then we were able to steer the company together. Okay, and there's a very good thing. It's very challenging because before that, I think Proton has gone down. market share, and because the quality problem of Proton were not being addressed properly by management, previous management, and allowed the company to slide down, and there were no new models that can really save the company, and we were able to hold back the situation and planning to have better models moving forward. Because a car company, you can make or break if you have a good model. If you have a sellable model, you will make it. If you don't produce sellable model, you had it.
Then back then, so that how would you identify what is good model, what is of course you need to trial, but the thing is that in such a big corporations, no way for you to try, right? Tan Sri.
Yeah. Well, you have to read. Say for instance, I think the previous management, what they did, they prolonged the life of certain models because they were not selling the models that they were making. So they prolonged the Saga, the Swara, and all that, and that will affect the sales moving forward, because you cannot expect that people who use the car for 5 years go and buy the same car. So you have to have a facelift or changes in the model, and that was the mistake of the previous management. I think so.
So are there any industry that will strike during times like this?
What do you mean?
Yeah. So are there any industry that will strike during times like this?
Oh, well, I must say that it's difficult. We are watching the situation. Everybody's watching. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. And is I must say that the business community are watching, and also they have to carry the burden of operating the company. Even though the company is not generating any income, but they have to keep on. And how long this pandemic is going to last? And I said, yes, it's 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years. And I heard in the CNN today, the experts are saying, oh, it's 3 years. So whether you can survive in 3 years or not. This is a very difficult situation to gauge.
Yeah. So talk about the strategies. What are the business strategy and steps you have taken to counter these challenging times, Tan Sri?
Well, it came as a sudden thing, and we were not prepared for it. But now it's a reality. We have all had to sit down and put our mind together and strategize. Some business will have to stop. There's a fact of life. Because certain business with a lot of overheads, you cannot be paying for the overheads. And when you start, say, another 6 months or 1 year from now, but a lot of losses you cannot carry for moving forward. The bus company, you cannot carry forward because the margin is very small. The government has not increased the fare for the last 11 years. So now with this pandemic, and they're talking about social distancing, and about only 40 or 50% of the bus can be filled with people. Okay, if we start operation, and that will not happen because the break-even point is like 70% of the ridership. So if it is only 40 or 50%, the more you operate, the more you make losses. So these are challenging. Yeah.
You just now, Tan Sri mentioned about for any business is making loss, you have to make it a stop, right? Just now. So for an entrepreneur, if let's say they are just started their business, or probably they have run their business, but the thing is like next 6 months, they have a lot of overhead. So what should they do?
Well, I'm also thinking of what I'm going to supposed to do. Probably the best way, if the pandemic is the lockdown period is going to be extended, probably the best way is to close the company. And we wait until the situation gets better, then reorganize yourself and make a comeback. Because if you continue to operate a company, paying the overheads, there'll be a lot of losses that you have accumulated that you have to address them moving forward.
Okay. So talk about like the stimuli package, which is offered by the government to the SME. Would it be enough to keep this company up, country?
I wouldn't know, but definitely any help from the government at this time would be good for the private sector, because SMEs, for instance, comprise of the bulk of the industrial base of our country. But not only SME, because SME are companies that supply material for the bigger companies. If the bigger companies are already affected by this lockdown, how can they start buying? Is it so? There's always the chain reaction. If the government only help the SMEs, but who's going to buy the SME products? Okay? Not all can SMEs can supply directly to the consumers, but those who produce what we call it, products for the bigger companies. The bigger companies are affected, and they have difficulty buying those products. And this will also be a challenge for the SME concern.
So this went to lead to my next question. The latest economic stimulus was aimed towards the SME. So what do you think the government can do to help bigger companies like Nadicorp? And for example, do you have any expectation?
See, for instance, in America, in other developed economies, the government are spending trillions of US dollars to have airlines, for instance, a Mohd company, Virgin Atlantic. So these are huge companies, much bigger than us. They also have. And so I should not underestimate the need for the government to help, but whether the government is in the position to help or not. And that is the question. Okay, of course, government wants to help, but where is the money coming from? So that will be the biggest
big question mark. Yeah, the big question mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than the governments, like some GLCs have been offering, some help, such as TMB offering electricity, discount. What do you think other GLC can do help out during these times of crisis, Sri?
Well, GLC also must have make money, okay, and they are producing only a small, maybe a portion of the cost of factors of production. It will help the business in the lowering the cost, but the overall demand and supply in the whole economy is going down because this pandemic people are not going to be investing in new things. People are not going to spend a lot of money because they don't have the money. They have lost the job or the income level. So the aggregate demand will come down. And the supply will not be bullish to supply this period, because people are quite skeptical whether they can sell or not. So the pandemic is going to cause a slowdown in everything. So I expect there's going to be a recession. There's already maybe a recession by now already in the world. And only thing is how bad it is going to be in our case. Yeah.
So speaking about, like, you mentioned earlier, most of the people are going to spend their money on essential items. What about the lifestyle or fashion category? Do you think they have these elements or probably component to survive through this pandemic, Sri?
I do not know that. Well, we are still studying the whole situation,
Mm-hmm.
what to supply and how to supply them. And I
Mm-hmm.
must say that there will be a pent-up demand in online business,
Mm-hmm.
e-commerce, because people still want to buy groceries. And these are
Mm-hmm.
big things, and definitely they will buy online because for instance, in Malaysia, the last during the lockdown period, they
Mm-hmm.
have increased the sale by 24 billion USD, which means that well they are benefiting,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
but at the expense of other sectors.
Mm-hmm.
So people can move around freely. They
Mm-hmm.
cannot go and buy things at shops and all that. So they buy with Amazon. So
Mm-hmm.
that Amazon has a tremendous pent up demand in the things that people want their services over this period. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the things we have to look. And
Mm-hmm.
but there will that the whole pent up demand in this sector will not be sufficient to
Mm-hmm.
cover overall decline in demand in other
Mm-hmm.
sectors.
Mm.
Mm.
So for those who are actually watching this live, you could actually drop comments, on the comment box. Feel free to answer any questions. Yvonne Yap has this question to Tan Sri. Based
Yeah.
on your experience, you mentioned SME should re-strategize or probably apply strategy, to their business. What do you think about the strategy? Would you suggest to the employer?
The employer.
Yeah, to the employer.
Well, I think everybody is groping in the dark
Mm-hmm.
because when the whole aggregate demand, okay, people
Mm-hmm.
are not buying things. They're only buying the essential things because
Mm-hmm.
they're not certain of the future. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
money they have, they will conserve it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that alone will bring down the aggregate demand. And
Mm-hmm.
when the aggregate demand is lower, that means uh, you cannot support a lot of businesses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is
Okay.
the thing that I'm worried because
Mm-hmm.
we are operating at a lower aggregate demand, and
Mm-hmm. True.
this we have to tighten our belt, all of us,
Mm-hmm.
in order to survive for the next 2 to 3 years.
You just now, Tan Sri, suggested the company, the SME, to close the company if they are continue making losses. What about the employees? Because everybody's will say that, like, if the company closed out the companies, the employee closed out the company, the employee do not have a job. So how do you think the SME could sustain or probably to solve these problems?
Well, like I have mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
businesses must earn revenue to keep the factors of production going.
Mm-hmm.
They have bills to make, to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
salaries, materials, so forth and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
if they can do that, and there's something for them, then there will be a profit for them. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's not making profit. Definitely, you cannot be making profit
Mm-hmm.
because the demand for the goods and services that you used to produce are not going to be the same at the same level. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Two, of course, your overheads are still high. You Because in producing any goods or services, you have fixed costs and variable costs.
Mm-hmm.
So the fixed cost is there, and the variable cost might be less, but
Mm-hmm.
overall there will be not much of demand. And
Mm-hmm.
if the demand has gone down, the fixed cost per unit of material that you produce or product that you produce will be a bigger percentage. Yeah, you understand? So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so that will be bad for business because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the economy of scale to produce.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever saving they have on the variable cost, but it will be eaten up by the fixed cost easily.
Mm-hmm.
That is assuming that the variable cost will come down. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
people are willing to work at a cheaper rate or materials are going to be sold at a lower price if they can, but the fixed cost is going to be high.
Yeah.
So this is a big headache for all businesses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. True.
I can't think of anyone who, besides Amazon, I just told you about e-commerce, they have benefited on this. But other than that, I'm very not optimistic about the kind of business, and we hope that this pandemic will go away as soon as possible. And even it will go, say, another 2 years from now or 1 year from now, but the level of confidence of the people, the consumers, are not going to be there yet. It will take a while for the level of confidence to come back, so that
True.
there will be upsurge in demand for goods and services.
Mm.
So we are heading for long, difficult times.
True.
Yeah.
So speaking about this pandemic, it had just started. When and how the company can identify or probably to think that this is the time for me to cut off this business. Otherwise, then like you mentioned, Tan Sri, wouldn't want to actually make any loss when it continues. So when is the best time to decide whether I should close or not close the company, Tan Sri?
It depends on the business, okay? Business to business. So, say for instance, I have to pay like 5 billion a month on the salary and other fixed costs.
Mm.
And I can't do this for a long period of time.
Mm.
For instance, so I better close. Whatever loss, okay, I cut my loss. I don't want any more additional losses.
Mm.
So you have to decide. So some people where they can bear, they can hibernate in such a way, not so much overheads, they can continue. When the pandemic is over, then probably they can slowly uh, start doing the business again. So it depends on the business to business, because some business you cannot go on. Like even in America, a big company like Boeing, they're asking, Boeing is such a big company.
Yeah, yeah.
How can they ask for a bailout from the government of America? So, and the airlines, all the airlines are asking for the bailout. They cannot, because they are big companies, yes, but big companies have big overheads. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
if you have big overheads, of course you have to cover the overheads with the income. And the problem today is that there's no income because no movement, no
True.
purchases. So that is the greatest challenge to most businesses.
True.
Yeah. So I think if the whole aggregate demand is going down, definitely we will not be able to support the old business model. Okay, and we are operating at a lower aggregate demand. Definitely, some things have to go up. You cannot put
So
it in.
speaking about like the business, you have to cut down the business. But the thing is, like looking at like the airline industry, AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines, it's such a big corporation, a big companies, and the thing is, they have more than 10,000, employee to take care. And how do you see the future of these airlines in the industry?
Yeah, I don't want to say or predict what's going to happen to them, but in general, companies must earn revenue in order to pay for the expenses. And they have all the people there ready to work, but cannot work. So who do you blame? The employee or what? You cannot blame anybody but the pandemic. So if the pandemic cannot earn revenue, so the airline will give the salary of their voters and all that. So, but the straight fact about the whole thing is that business must rely on its own viability to stay in business. Okay, and when you don't have income, you cannot pay your employees. You cannot pay for the expenses because what is a company? A company is is an entity that receives revenue and discharge some, give all the expenses away, and hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you make some profit. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any income, how are you going
Mm-hmm.
to pay for your expenses?
Yeah, true. So speaking about this situation, what about the startup? Because most of the startups, they are relying fundings or probably like crowdfunding to sustain their business, or So what do you see this startup is gonna be in next 1 year or 2 years times?
It depends on the type of startup. If the
Mm-hmm.
demand for that the business of the startup is good, then it will be good. But if the startup are going to produce things or the parts, and for the future it's not going to be so hot, so the startup better change their business strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that kind of business because there's no business.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you want to be in business, you must look at the demand of the product or services.
Mm-hmm.
Product demand is good, then it's worthwhile for you to start a business. But
Mm-hmm.
if you make a mistake or you make the wrong action, so you 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 expect that the economy to be like this, but it doesn't happen that way. So you have,
Mm-hmm.
because the economy is bigger than your business strategy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Uh,
but most of the business owner, they have this mindset is like probably wait and see. Wait. We're gonna wait another 3 months to see how's the situation. So, should business owners, entrepreneurs have that kind of mindset, or it's
yeah,
just like make a
some,
decision?
some will be like that. Okay, if the pandemic will be over in 3 months' time, you are lucky. If
Mm-hmm.
it goes longer than 6 months, they're also going to go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not know. We cannot say for certain when this
Mm-hmm.
lockdown is going to be
Mm-hmm.
over. Even they're saying, I was watching CNN and BBC and that kind of thing. They say at least the vaccine can only be at least can be 1 year from now. But
Mm-hmm.
production and for us to get it for probably another 6 months. So 2 years will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2 years will be gone. And when the vaccine, say for instance, the vaccine is there, but then after the vaccine, people will not go back to its normal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be cautious. So that will because the human being is the most important agent for economic growth or
Yeah.
economic development. So when
Mm-hmm.
they start not to spend or they're cautious about spending, so it's bad for the
Mm-hmm.
economy. And we
Mm-hmm.
are not able to support the level of business activity that we used to support before. That is a
Mm-hmm.
fact of life. So we should be all prepared for a lower economic activity as a whole, because new generators of economic activities will be almost zero nowadays. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we are just buying the essential things to keep us alive, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a fact. People
Mm-hmm.
not going to buy a car. Why should I buy a new car?
Yeah.
Okay, I need my own car. Is it things like that? So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the whole economy is going to be operated at a lower level, and,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to adjust our life to a lower level of economic activity
Mm-hmm.
until we see the certainty that the future is quite bright for all of us. Then there will be pent-up demand of goods and services.
Okay. So, Tan Sri, how would COVID-19 change the way you conduct your business now?
Oh well, I must say that we are still learning,
Hmm.
but we have to make the prediction whether how long is this going to last.
Hmm.
We go on and on, and
Hmm.
I'm probably some business we have to close down, even
Hmm.
though we have invested a few hundred million.
Hmm.
close down because to
Mm-hmm.
continue you will lose a few more
Yeah.
families.
Yeah.
You see? So there's a fact of life. There's the sorry state of life. There's
Mm-hmm.
a state
But there's one saying, sayang lah kalau close the business. So, I guess like, that's how we build the business, and we have to decide to close the business, and that's emotional, you see.
yeah, yeah, even big companies like Kodak of America is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's
Mm-hmm.
overnight closed down because they made a wrong decision that
Mm-hmm.
digital technology is not going to be
Mm-hmm.
important. They still the board of directors believe that film technology will
Mm-hmm.
continue. So they made a fatal mistake. And a
Mm-hmm.
big company also just went bust. So
Mm-hmm.
no one is spared
Mm-hmm.
this kind of thing. If you make a wrong decision, you'll be wiped out. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no guarantee that it's good for all times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. What's the travel business today? You want to start an airline business today, you must be crazy. Is
Mm-hmm.
it? Is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So if you have been planning to have an airline business, so you
Mm-hmm.
should go ahead because now you see the business of airline business is going down. Or
Mm-hmm.
almost. It's not working at all now. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that your plan has to continue. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that we have a flu, for instance. Okay, sometimes it's better to be down with the flu and get what you call it, antibodies of
Mm-hmm.
yourself to fight the flu.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come back. So the economy is like that. You cannot have a status quo. Impossible to have a status quo. Some business has to
Mm-hmm.
be wiped out, and
Mm-hmm.
this is that part because
Mm-hmm. So,
the economic situation cannot support such
mm-hmm.
business anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So, Dan Sri, how long do you think it will take for our economy, to recover?
I don't know. I think it will be easily if we can control the pandemic and
Mm-hmm.
have the we call it vaccine for it. Probably
Mm-hmm.
3 years from now.
3 years.
Yes, 3 years easily because it's not easy. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy because people still are very cautious in their behavior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the social distancing, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so many things. So I hope I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but Malaysia is managing the pandemic quite well.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean if we relax, it might be another wave of
Mm-hmm.
pandemic coming. So there's
Mm-hmm.
nobody is for sure, for
Mm-hmm.
certain, this will be over. We are
Mm-hmm.
not that we don't know because it's something new, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that will make the whole situation very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
Okay,
knows.
nobody knows what the future.
Yeah.
Even
Mm-hmm.
America underestimated this.
The
Yeah, they
yeah.
have the highest death number of death.
Mm.
Okay.
So will the post-COVID period would be a good time, for entrepreneur, to embark on their business journey? If not, how long should they wait? That's Sri.
Well, you want to generate business, there must be demand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I and with this pandemic, I think that the overall aggregate demand will go down.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going for a few business, everybody is going for this few business. That is the challenging part because we cannot support a big economic activity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we have to reduce the pie, the cake. And,
Mm-hmm.
and in the process, definitely everybody, if they get something, they get a small share of it. But but if you are the business like Amazon, for instance, okay, they have a bigger slice of the share. So everybody is thinking in that direction. Okay, that they want to. That's why you can see now a lot of companies started selling things online because people can move and see things. So using Instagram, social media to promote their product and services. So this will be the new opportunities maybe open for people, maybe younger people who knows about the internet and e-commerce will move into this direction. And this will also give a good opportunity for such business growth. Because the situation forces, okay, for them to do this kind of business now. Yeah.
So for those who have questions to Tan Sri, feel free to actually comment on the comment box, so Tan Sri will answer your questions. Tan Sri, the next question is that how should other businesses prepare themselves for a future crisis? Because like having this crisis, everybody is unprepared. So how should we prepare ourselves for our next crisis?
Okay, we can be better prepared than what it is today, but it depends on how long the crisis is going to be. For a short while, it's okay, but if it is prolonged for 6 months or 1 year, businesses cannot withstand it. Okay, this is a fact of life, because you cannot continue to operate a company without revenue. Impossible. Okay, and we are not very flexible. You are in this business, you can switch into this business, for instance, which are in demand. It's not many businesses can switch
to online. Yeah.
So the best thing is that we hope we have a better ways of managing any pandemic in the future. That's more important than anything else, because if you had a pandemic and you don't know what to do, that will not give the confidence of the people to spend and invest money. Because even the medical community are not sure when they're going to get this vaccine, when they're going to end this pandemic, and how they're going to do it. These are experts in health, but we are not doctors. So we are very skeptical. We are very cautious. So that would be the thing that would affect the economic activity of any economy.
So what is your advice for businesses or SME and startup during these times, Tan Sri?
I do not know really, because you want to be in certain business to produce something, but that something must be in demand. But this pandemic thing, there's not much demand, except for
essential goods.
Essential goods, and that's all. But people are not going to buy things that you used to buy during good times, and there's not many of those essential things that you want to go in and offer the customer, because the demand for other goods are not going to be there. That is a fact of life. So we all have to be prepared for the lean times. We all hope there's economic prosperity, but if the economic activity has gone down, so there's not much opportunity for people to be in business. This is a fact of life. Okay, and my advice is that we have to be smart in the sense that you must be watching the trend. What can you do? You can do things differently from the traditional way of doing business, and you see the trend of people, what goods and services are in demand, and if you can produce that and offer that at a lower prices, and that will be the way the way forward during this period. But it's not easy because everybody is thinking the same thing. And if there's, well, the, the thing is going to be in demand, such a product, but the supply side is going to be so much. So there's not enough business for everyone. Okay, so there's a challenge. So the challenge, we have to accept that we are going to be poorer. We're going to say, oh, I'm going to expand in this. You expand, but there's no business. You can go bankrupt in no time. Okay, so my advice is that you take a rest and see, watch with
What's the right strategies?
yeah, and sometimes all these creative ideas will come from adversity.
So speaking about this pandemic, this is quite a strange thing, as in like in Guangzhou last Saturday, and Amidst actually pulled in 2.7 million from the Chinese consumer from their shopping. So that's true. How do you see, as in like the first day when Amidst opened, they generated 2.7 millions from the consumers. So so people still have that behavior in terms of buying goods. You see, what do you think?
Yeah, when you are deprived of certain thing, and then when it's lifted, of course, there's a pent up demand. But the way they buy things are going to be different. Okay, and the goods and services they buy now will be slightly different from the time that when there was no pandemic. So I don't know. Maybe the Chinese have still a lot of money, and they say, okay, they can spend, okay. But our people here, most of the people are not having so much saving.
The privilege to spend.
So if the situation also improve a bit, they will not go out and buy things. So, okay, maybe some with higher income level, they will do that, but there's not going to be a massive amount of people like that. But the bulk will be the majority are the people who earn salaries. Okay, they are small businesses. So they will learn from the lesson that they had to get prepared for the rainy days. I think that will be the behavior of people.
So, any last words now from Tan Sri to people who are watching this live interview?
We must be what you call it, prepared. Okay, to able to calm down in terms of our lifestyle, our consumption, so that we can survive this COVID-19 lockdown period, so that it will not be such a problem to all of us. And we hope this lockdown period will be over as soon as possible, and the business will be back to normal.
Okay, thank you, Tan Sri. So the last announcement I'm going to make is like tomorrow, 11 a.m., we have Rachel Tan, Miss Chinese International 2003, and film producer and lawyer, and Ned Ho, Singaporean actor and singer. We will be discussing on an outlook on entertainment trends. So thank you, Tan Sri, for sharing thoughts with us, and take care, stay safe, have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye.